See this guy? This is Bob Gurr, and he's a Disney legend, but he's also the kidnapper in the focus of our story today. Bob was one of the original Imagineers, and he's created such iconic ride vehicles like the Doom Buggies of the Haunted Mansion, the Autopia Cars, the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea subs, and here he is inside one of his most iconic attractions, the Matterhorn. In this scene from the Imagineering story on Disney Plus, Bob is talking about the Matterhorn itself. You can see him explaining how attractions cast members, those cast members who operate the ride on a daily basis, well, over the years they have left their signatures on the interior of the attraction. When the director of the series asks Bob, "Have you signed it yet?" Bob answers, "Well, no, I'm not a cast member who worked on the day-to-day operations of this ride. I just helped build it." Cut to the next scene, and what do you see? Bob signing the mountain. Now it's true, he might not have been an attractions cast member, but being the man who designed the Matterhorn, well, I think us Disney folks out there, we're okay with him signing it. Hey there, Opinioneers, it's Connor Brown from WDW Opinion, where we help you plan for and daydream about your next perfect Disney World vacation. And the reason I started with Bob today is because of these things I just got in the mail. And don't worry, these have to do with our kidnapping story as well. These are from Gurr's website, and he was selling limited edition prints of the patents of some of the most iconic ride vehicles he created. Here you have the Haunted Mansion Doom Buggies, the submarine vehicles from the Submarine Voyage, the Disneyland People Mover designs, the Matterhorn Bobsleds, the Autopia Cars, but this one is very special. It's the Disneyland Monorail, which of course Bob also designed, but look right there, right in the middle. That's right, it's his signature. I had him sign this one because this vehicle, the Disneyland Monorail, well, this is the star of our kidnapping story we are talking about today. The day of the kidnapping was June 14th, 1959, and it was a huge day in Disneyland history because you see, that was the day of the grand opening of the Disneyland Monorail system, the Matterhorn Bobsleds, and the Submarine Voyage. Now, Bob had his hand in designing parts of all of those attractions, but as the day drew near, all of his focus was centered right on the monorail. He and his team would work day and night just trying to make the monorail work. They were manufacturing new parts, tweaking different elements of the system, doing anything they could just to make it function properly. Finally, the night before the grand opening, Monorail Red did a full lap without breaking down. It was the first time it had ever done that. You heard that right. The first time the Disneyland Monorail successfully did one lap, just one lap of its track without breaking down was the night before it was supposed to open. There's some serious magic at play there. So the fateful day arrived, and it was a big day indeed. Walt Disney himself, he had invited some 1,000 members of the press into the park to see all the grand openings and the festivities and all that jazz. But the most important guest of the day was Vice President at the time, Richard Nixon. On that day, Bob Gurr had the very important task of piloting the monorail. He was supposed to drive it from the maintenance bay, park it at the station for the press to get some pictures, and then he would take Walt and the Vice President and the VP's family on one lap of the monorail track. So right now in our story, I want you to put yourself in Bob's shoes. You are in a brand new vehicle that you designed that up until mere hours ago didn't work. And every single time you started it, it would break down. But here you are, hours later, you have the Vice President of the United States of America and Walt Disney in the car. You're piloting it, and you're probably sweating bullets and praying to God it doesn't break down. Because if that happens, if it breaks down, and it breaks down with Walt Disney and the Vice President stranded in it, the day's ruined. Simple as that. The day is ruined. So all the passengers climb aboard, and Walt starts to get antsy, turns to Bob and says, "Come on, let's get a move on." Bob, not thinking, immediately takes off. He just wants to be done with the lap and he wants it to be over with. He's excited because it's working like a charm. As he rounds the final bend of the track, the station comes into view, and what does he see? Every single member of the Vice President's Secret Service detail. Bob was in such a hurry to get going and get this thing over with that he left before any Secret Service member could get on board. Monorail pulls into the station and the Secret Service immediately jumps on to see if the Vice President is all right. Even now, Bob refers to June 14th, 1959 as the day he kidnapped the Vice President. I love that story because it shows how connected Disneyland is to America, how ingrained they are in each other, but I also love it because it shows the hard work Bob and other cast members and other Imagineers put into making Walt's visions come to life. Bob is an incredible person, and if you'd like this story, it's just one of many that he's got. He's put many of them into a couple books, which I will link down below in this description. But here's the big kicker. If you want even more stories about the history of the parks, like this kidnapping of the president, I talk about the best Disney documentaries on Disney Plus in this video right here. Those docs on Disney Plus are filled with great stories, so be sure to check that out right over there. And until next time, I'll see you real soon in the next video.